Hi, it's Joe here at Wooliecottage. Today I'm going to just have a quick chat about a breed study that I've managed to source from Scotland. It's a Kerry Hill. So there you go, a Kerry Hill fleece. Now I swear this one here is smiling because you can see his teeth. So they're very distinct, Kerry Hill sheep. And they've got a very distinctive look. They look like they've got balaclavas on with black eyes underneath, which I find quite amusing. So yeah, that's the breed I'm talking about today, and I'll probably do a spinning video of it on my second video. And I want to do some things with it that's a little bit different than what I would normally do. So I'm just going to plonk that there. Now I do have quite a lot of this wool. Depending on what projects I want to do for myself, I'll probably have a good few natural samples on there. I'm going to do some mixed bags that are carded with fibre in, and I will do a couple of mixed bags that I haven't carded that you can just literally spin from the locks on it. So this wool was sourced from a lady I found on Facebook on one of the Greasy Fleece Marketplace adverts, and it was a lady called Doreen. Now she's based up in Aberdeenshire. Now she told me that it's actually a friend of hers. He's a retired gentleman. He started off with a small flock about 4 years ago, just for a hobby. He has them pitched in a field next to his house, and he started off with 4 of them. So now he has ended up with 17 ewes and 17 lambs, and they are his pets. He refers to them as his girls. And he's very, very fussy what they get, when they get it, and how they're looked after. So these have had amazing husbandry, even to the point that he is very, very, very strict about who shears his ladies. So a general fleece weight of a Kerry Hill is about 2.5 to about 3 kilos, depending on male or female, as the general rule goes anyway. So originally this breed are from the hills, and they originate from Wales. Now you'll see me looking up and down. I do have it all written down in my notes here. I know bits and pieces off by heart, so I'm not cheating. I'm not looking at a book. I've actually researched this, and I've got a couple of bits and pieces. So they were actually, the breed was introduced to the genetic conservation and for the DNA, because there wasn't that many of them left behind in the last recent years, but they've become really, really popular as a sheep for both meat and for fleece. Mostly in meat, because they are big sheep. Now they were put onto the purebred survival list. Now I'm actually going to sort of contradict that a little bit. Yes, they are a rare breed, and they're not found anywhere else. And I've been hunting for this article that I read a couple of weeks ago. I will look for it, and when I do my second video, I will post a link for you to go and read the article yourself. But there's a lady that writes, British lady that writes vlogs. Now she says, and through her research of different breeds of fleece, that she thinks that the Kerry Hill didn't exist up until before the Victorian era, or that general rule, and that to create these sheep you would have had to have crossbred them with maybe a Hereford sheep and some other breed as well, to be able to get them to have that distinct look. So I will definitely look up the link and try and find it again. It's always the same, isn't it? When you find a really interesting article, you can never find it when you're looking for it. And I could have sworn I wrote it down, but I can't find her link. But I will put that on there for you to go and look it up yourself. So no longer an endangered breed, and it's no longer on the Survival Trust neither. But it does have a staple length of about 6 to 13 centimetres long. So I'll try and hold it in the middle, it's easier. So that is a part of the raw fleece. So I'll just get my centimetre ruler out. Where's the CMs? They're down the bottom. So going from that tip there to that tip there, I have got, crikey Joe, you're never prepared for these things, are you? So it's saying to me on there, shy of 12 centimetres. So, and it's got a very, very tight crimp. Not distinct, but you can see it's like it's had plaits in. So you can see that wibble wobble all the way down there. And as a general rule as well, it has a micron count of anything between. Now, on the British Wool Board book that I have, it said 26 to 29 microns. But other information sources, like the Kerry Hill Sheep Society, they say it's a micron count of 29 to roughly 31 micron counts. So take your pick from there. I mean, for me, I would presume that maybe it depends on where they're located and where they're being bred as to whether the wool's going to be softer or not. Because if you're living in harsher conditions, your fleece is going to really suffer a bit, and they don't have guard hairs neither. Now, this is actually quite soft. I could imagine this wool being used in nice cable knit jumpers for outdoor wear over a shirt. Definitely hats, scarves, mittens, your usual paraphernalia, and spin it up and make blankets out of it for over your bed, or even just hang over your sofa. It has got a really nice, look at that, it's got a really good bounce on that. I mean, if I was to measure that now with its full length, that at a stretch is touching 15 centimetres. So it's got a good 2.5 to 3 centimetre stretch allowance in there. So it's amazing that when you're spinning wools and people add in the nylons, well, wool got its, to a certain extent, got a natural bounce of its own. And if you didn't spin that too thinly, that's going to have a nice stretch. And when the jumper's been washed a couple of times, it's going to really start to drop a little bit. So, I mean, if you were spinning with that, expect to get worsted style. And it will give a yarn a really subtle shine on there as well. And it will produce a matte, so that'll have a supple shine on a worsted wool. But if you were to do as a woolen style prep to spin with, you'll end up with a very matte sort of shine against it. To me, it hasn't got really much of a shine as in a luxury wool that you'd expect from like a Wensleydale or something like that, where you've got it is a really shiny wool. But I can imagine that being very lofty, especially with that bounce that's in there. It'll trap a lot of air, definitely, because of the crimp. So I wouldn't spin this too thinly. Try and aim for something that's a DK weight, I would say. And depending, you can spin these straight from the locks. It hasn't got any sort of definition as such. I'll just pull this straight from here. I'm taking it from the raw sections that I haven't washed yet. But there is a slight triangle there. And a slight, I would say, elongated lock. And you can spin directly straight from them. Now, I do have some that's washed up. So there is a difference in the colour. There's the one that I've washed already. There's still a bit of dirty tips on the end of there. But once it's been carded up, that'll all come out anyway. And once you wash it to set your jumper or your yarn, that's no problem. So that's it washed and that's it raw. So there is quite a bit of a difference. It's definitely down to more of a whitey cream, whereas that one you can tell it's got a slightly yellow tinge to it, and it is a little bit dirty looking. And it was very, very cloudy when I took that out. But to feel it, you wouldn't think there was so much lanolin in it, but there obviously was, because it took me 4 rinses. So a cold wash without any liquid in there, detergent that is, 3 washes with liquid detergent, and then 1 clear wash just to get the last of that dirt and lanolin out of there. But it doesn't even look that dirty. I was quite surprised as to how much came out of it. So yes, so they have a lovely white fleece, and they've got the mix of really lofty yarn. The locks are dense, which you can see here, as I've shown you already. They are there's a lot of fibre going on in there. It might even be better up against my jumper. There we go. Up against the top. There we go. So it's a very, very dense fibre weave in there, staple lengths. And the fleeces from this breed with a longer staple length, like a shearling, for example, you can spin straight from the lock, especially if they've got a good length for them. But I'd be quite happy to spin. I'll just move that out of my way. I'd be quite happy to spin this once it's washed, straight from that, and then spin away. So I mean, if I'm pulling that to draft out, yeah, you could. It's not too bad. I wouldn't want to spin it too thinly, because really at the end of the day these wools are better off suited for, as I say, jumpers and things like that. So you don't want a finger in weight for an outdoor jumper, do you? So that is it just twisted through, and it looks, yeah, it's got some good snap on that. It would definitely do, I would quite happily weave with it as well as my warp and weft. I think it would make a really nice woven blanket, or even some sort of shawl if you really want to go down that route. So yeah, there's not a lot of information about the Kerry Hill fleece. Just this one I found about this lady who protests that they must have been crossbred with something else to be able to create that badger face sort of look about them. So the natural habitat is a Powys whale, or actually no, the original name was Powie whale or Kerry. I'm telling lies. Powys whales or Kerry Newton, and they were recorded breed from 1809, and they are white sheep, gorgeous fleeces with this distinctive panda-like faces. It looks like mugshots to me. So yeah, they've got panda-like features, very recognisable, and they're polled, both the males and the females. I will go into a bit more information about what's the difference and why sheep are polled and not polled. So they are now bred in the UK and the Netherlands since 1998, and Germany and Denmark. In 2006 they were removed from the watch list. And they are a medium-sized breed. They're roughly between 54 to 65 kilos in weight, and they're a docile breed. So they're very happy to be pet or hobby breed sheeps. They're quite happy to be around humans. They won't chase you down the field after them, and they're very much liked for hobby breeders, like with your white Shropshire breeds. So one article I did, I always like to, if I'm going to do my breed studies, I'm always looking out for articles that in the news or any mentions of certain breeds. And I found this article about a lady who lived in Switzerland. She was a farmer, lived up in the Alps, and she must have been on here on holiday just before COVID or something like that. But she was looking for a type of sheep that would quite happily live where she was based. So what happened is she was here on holiday and she spotted these these white sheep with these badger faces, with these panda faces, and she fell in love with them. So she searched for a while for British breeders that may have been registered online of the Kerry Hill sheep, and she found a breeder in Leighton, and they had these sheep breed, and she contacted them and wrote to them saying they'd be perfectly situated where she's located up in the hills or mountain range. So thanks to the decision of this farmer she managed to get in touch with, he said yes, and it took them up until I think it was January of this year. It took all of COVID lockdown to sort out the paperwork, sort out the sheep that she was going to buy from them, and to get them over to her in Europe and Switzerland. So what ended up happening was she just happened to know somebody who was actually a farm haul or a livestock hauler, and they managed to come over at the back end of lockdown before January, when everything was getting really quite bad, and get all the paperwork done before Brexit as well, which was the main point of why, because it would have cost them more money than whatever else is involved in that. So the livestock breeder got themselves over here to the UK, transporter, got the sheep, transported them over through the tunnel, all the way through to Switzerland, and now we have some Kerry Hill sheep that are actually 23 ewes and lambs, and they've made it all the way from Welsh Pool over to the Swiss Alps, the first breed of their kind in that country. So yeah, so the population is growing, and that's about much as I can find on that. If you want to get in touch with some breeders, either for memberships if you've got them yourself, for farming and agricultural shows where you can go along and see the Kerry Hill Sheep, if you've not got any in your locality, or you're looking to get a breed yourself, then get in touch with the Kerry Hill Sheep Society.com. That's the best place to go and find them. And that's really all I've got to say. It's a really, really nice sheep fleece. Really cute little sheep. And yeah, rubbing on my skin now. And I have a really electric sensitivity when it comes to things touching my skin. And that's not bothering me too much. I'll be quite happy with that. Now, I couldn't find out if you could felt with it, but because of that crimp in there, I would definitely say it will. And I'm going to have a little try of felting, and I might actually put that on my video for the next one. I say might, I will. I'll see what I can come up with, and see what we can make felting wise, just to see if it actually works more than anything. But I can't see why it wouldn't, not with all that crimping in there. It should felt up quite nicely. So yeah, so I'll get the other video sorted out, and I'll do a bit of spinning with it, and I will do a little bit of felting on the next video. If you've got any questions, drop me a comment down below. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Sorry, a bit all over the place this week. As you can see, I have been decorating my workshop. I've still got another wall that I've got to paint, and I've been listing my bats today and getting sewing done. So I meant to get this done last week. I just hadn't had a chance. So yeah, I hope that helps with your intrigue in getting new breeds. I shall post another video probably the end of the week, if not beginning of next week, with the second part. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day. Bye.